Welcome back to the sessions on the subject marketing management. Myself is Umrez, working as an assistant professor, Department of MBA, MLR Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. In the previous lecture, as we discussed about business market, it is part 1 where we discussed about the basic elements related to buying behavior of business market, the definition, business centers that we discussed, and at the same time, what are the various decisions involved in that business market. Now, in today's lecture, as we will discuss about what is a buying process of business markets. How does a business market will take the decisions with respect to the purchase of a product. Now, the various steps which we briefly introduced in the previous lecture, let us have a look on this one. Like the first step in the buying behavior by a business organization is problem recognition. That means identification of a product. The second aspect that we have, it is general need description and product specifications. So what is a need and what are the specifications of that one? How it is, we will get into that. Next one is we will identify who are the suppliers of our product. That means whatever the need fulfillment with a product, who are available, we will find out. Proposer solicitation, that is we will scrutinize the different proposals from the different suppliers so that we will select the right supplier for our product. And after selecting a supplier, as we will go with order routine specifications. With respect to that specific order, as we will take the routine decisions. And last, as we will review the performance with respect to that purchase. Now, let us start with the first step, that is problem recognition. Now, what is problem recognition here? Problem recognition, here also the problem is saying that is need. Scarcity of a product or else need of a product has to be determined. That is a basic step for any business unit. Like problem recognition, buying process starts with identification of problem in the organization or need for a product or service. Basically, what is the difference between problem identification and a need? There are certain situations that we have like a need. Like previously we have purchased certain 100 kgs of raw material. Like as we said just now, tomato ketchup manufacturing unit. Now in that tomato manufacturing unit, what happened? Every day that they are using certain, the raw material for them, it is basic raw material is tomatoes. Now the tomatoes that have been ended, now they need to buy it again. That is a routine purchase that we have. That is need identification, when to buy for a new product, or else identification of a problem. Another way of purchase of a product will take place whenever there is any limitation problem in the existing raw materials that we are using. In that case also what happened? A problem arises, that problem is making to identify the need for a problem. Somehow that the organizations will identify either a problem or need for a problem. And this can recognize by internal and external stimuli. How do we find out? Either what type of product that we required, what is the need? How we will identify means by using two different ways, internal stimuli, external stimuli that we have. Now, what is this internal stimuli? Stimuli is nothing but there are different elements that will help us to identify. For example, there is a smell is coming. Now, how do I identify? Through the nose. There is stimuli that we can say. Now, organizations want to introduce a new product and required a new machine or material. What are the internal organizational changes that we have? For example, whenever a company is going to introduce a new product into the market, yes, there is a new quality standardized material is required. That we will consider under internal stimuli. The other element, there is a problem in the existing machine, existing materials that we have, and its parts have been replaced. There is a need of maintenance, there is a need of repairs into that one. That means here also what happened? There is a problem is identified here. So in that case also, as we will go for purchase of a product, or else dissatisfied with the available suppliers. Now whoever from whom that we are buying the product, now we are not very happy with them. The quality of the product that they are supplying, the price that they are charging, we are feeling that it is not up to the mark when compared with the other suppliers in that market. Now, all these reasons will help an organization to identify the need for a product, and all these are the internal towards an organization, within our organization. Because of that, as we will call them as internal stimuli. But when comes to the other aspect that we have, that is external stimuli. Now under this external stimuli, what we have, that means certain forces that are not present within an organization, they are the outside of an organization, but making us to identify the need for a product. Identified the availability of new methods, ideas or materials through the different types of trade shows, advertisements, sales representatives, etc. We came to know that the competitor is using certain type of raw material which is very good quality that we have. Now what happened? There is a need has been identified. We attended a trade show. There we have seen that certain materials are available in the market which are more qualitative. So all these are the various factors that makes an organization to identify a deficiency. Now that deficiency is nothing but will create the need. Now as these factors are outside, so we will call them as external stimuli. Okay, now we have identified there is a need of a product. Now how to fulfill this need? Before going to decide about what type of product that we will purchase, first we needed to give the description about the need. Why we needed to describe the need? Basically, how to fulfill the need. How to fulfill the need can be addressed if when we are going to describe the need. For example, I want to write on a paper. I want to write in a paper. There is need is I need something to write. How it can be fulfilled? It can be fulfilled either by a pen or pencil. To take a decision, either I need to buy a pencil or a pen. Either I need to buy a red pen, blue pen, green pen, black pen. How do I decide such a, how can we decide such an element? For that, we needed to describe our need. I am a engineering student. I am going for an exam and my pen is not working now. In that case, need has been clearly specified. So ultimately, we will go with either a blue or black pen. There is no red pen, there is nothing else that can, even that pencil is also not fulfilling our need now. So before going to decide the product that we want, first let us describe the need so that itself will help us to identify what are the products that will fulfill our basic requirement. Now come to this concept, that is general need description and product specification. After identifying the problem, the buyer should determine the needed items. What are the different items that are required in the organization? Its characteristics such as the reliability, durability, price of that product, etc. Why? This need description will help us. Need description will help in order to evaluate the right supplier. Now there are different people have sent a quotation to us. How can I identify who is the right seller, right supplier to our product? So for that, I should be clear about what is the price of that product, what is the durability required, what is the reliability required. So if these elements have been prescribed in a clear sense, then it is very easy to identify or to buy right quality products. And required quantity, how much quantity required. So in organizations, there are different types of quantities that we will buy. Now at present, what is the need, how many units that we required, that will be decided here. It can be done by the users and by consulting the engineering and users. How do we decide what type of specifications of the need and at the same time how much quantity is required? This generally will be done by the users of that product. Whoever the users of that product, those people will take a decision as what is the needed, what is the product that they need. The buyer should see here under the business center. In the previous lecture, we discussed about the users. Now here we are calling them. Now another element that we have, it is buyer. This also addressed under business centers. The buyer should also decide the product specifications. Now why this product specification? There might be certain alternative goods might be present in the market. Whatever the product that we required that might not be available in the market, there are certain alternative products with good specifications might be available. So to identify that, as we need to go for product specification. For this, the organization appoints a product value analysis, PVA. Product value analysis can be conducted. A team of engineers will give the specifications about what type of products that is required, what is the quality of that product, what are the standard specifications of that product. All these things will be given by a product value analysis team. The team will analyze standardized products need to redesign the component to reduce the cost. Now, what is a present cost and how we can reduce that cost, as these aspects will be considered, and this team will give the specifications about the product. Okay, we have identified the need. We have even described our need as well as product specifications. Now, what is the next step that we need to do? We need to search for the product people whoever able to fulfill my need in the market. Now, who are the suppliers who are fulfilling our basic product and need specifications that needed to be identified. The buyer search for the supplier through trade directories. There are different types of trade directories like visiting cards and all that might be given by the people. Their contacts with the other companies from whom the other competitor or somebody else is buying. From that as we'll find out who are the suppliers available in the market. Trade advertisements will be given in the trade magazines and all, or else by attending the trade shows, or else a latest element that we have, it is internet facilities. By using all these channels or ways as we will search for the supplier whoever available in the market. The emergence of internet has changed the shape of purchasing over years. Now, yes, internet has changed drastically in all the fields, and now buying behavior of even the customers are also changed now. Many of the companies are preferring to buy through electronic modes nowadays, as e-purchases, e-buy will takes place nowadays even with respect to business market. Now, what are the different types of e-purchases that we have? Like electronic catalog sites like India Mart, one of the best examples that we can say. Now we will open the India Mart website, we will see the specifications, the images that have been given, even they have already given certain type of contact numbers and all. We will contact to those people and we will place our order. That is, suppliers can be identified through a online platform like an India Mart. Vertical markets, that is horizontal and vertical. There are two different aspects which takes place in an organization. Vertical means above to that our level. Horizontal means whoever doing in the within the same level. Purchase of a plastic, chemical, steels, etc. can be done by using this vertical market. That is integration. Who are the supplier to ours? Now from that is we will identify who are the best suppliers available in the market. Or else pure play auction sites. Like there are different types of auction sites that we have. It is freemarkets.com. Now under this one, raw materials can be purchased on auction basis. So through that is we can, or else the last one, that is suppliers searching can be done by using buying allowances. That is, two or more companies will combine together jointly as they are going to find out one supplier, and whatever the required material that they have, that can be purchased only from that single supplier. So these are the different ways through which we can identify who are the suppliers available. Now we have identified 7 to 8 members whoever supply the raw material to our organization. Are we going to buy with all those people? Means no. In the next step, what will happen? We will ask them to send their proposal. That is proposer solicitation. Now under this one, here the buyer will invite the supplier to submit their proposals. 7 to 8 suppliers, whoever that we have, yes, we will inform to them to submit their proposal. How it can be done in electronic ways, or else even in through the newspaper advertisements and all that we can publish. When the products are more expensive and complex, then the buyers will evaluate the suppliers and select few suppliers to send their quotations and presentations. Now, whenever it is an expensive product, we cannot trust any suppliers. So, only trustable, liable suppliers will be identified, and we will ask only those people to give their quotations. That is proposer solicitation. Now, once we have received the proposal, now what we need to do? We need to identify who is the right supplier for our product. Now, supplier selection. The supplier should be selected based upon the specifications by the buyer center as a desired supplier attributes and their importance. Now, what are the specifications of that supplier? What is their history? what kind of material that they are supplying. All these elements will be considered here before selecting a supplier. The supplier can be rated on different attributes. Now, what are those attributes? That is, a type of matrix will be prepared here. Here, like supplier 1, 2, 3, 4, we will take the different attributes. Whoever weightage is more, definitely we will go with certain suppliers. Now, what are these parameters, on what basis that the supplier selection can be done? Like the attributes include like reliable. Now, how much that the supplier, it is very important. For example, we have made an agreement with the supplier and he is not a reliable person. He agreed to send A plus quality product to us, but now he is not sending that. He is sending B plus. That means he is not a reliable person. He is not distributing that product at right time that is agreed. So, depending upon this one, what happened? The entire production and quality will be impacted. So, we will check the reliability of the supplier, delivery, prompt delivery is happening or not, on what basis, how they are taking that delivery process, and price. What are the, that specific material, what are the different prices that he is offering, or when compared with the market, how lowest price that he is giving to us. The next one that we have, it is supplier reputation. What is the reputation of the supplier in the market? Does he is having a positive or negative? Do all the other competitors in the market are trusting him, or else they have a negative feedback on this one? Technical services. Basically, whenever we will buy certain type of products in the organizations, it is also needed that we require some sort of technical support. For example, we have purchased a machinery. That machine is not operating properly, or else the operating procedures has to be explained to our employees. That means we need a technical support from the organization, from the supplier, so that our employees can able to use that such a technology in a effective manner. Supplier flexibility. How rigid suppliers, what they will say, you have given an order on 10th, we will supply, I need 10 days, after 20th only it will be dispatched. Very rigid. This kind of people might not be suitable always in the organizations. Why? Certain cases when there is an emergency of materials, the supplier should be flexible enough to supply that one. Product reliability. Now, what is the quality of that product that they are supplying, and how much that they are reliable with respect to that product. Service reliability, etc. Now, what kind of services that they are offering to the public, to our organization, and what is the reliability on this one. So, these are the various factors that will be considered while selecting a supplier. Now, we have selected a supplier. What is the next step that we need to do? We need to place an order with that supplier. That is order routine specifications. After selecting the supplier, the buyer will take the various decisions like final quantity needed. They'll give, a document will be prepared under this one, routine order specifications. A document will be prepared by listing out all the aspects like what is the final quantity of purchase, how much that they need to purchase, and what is the quality. With respect to the quality, yes, we have a grading system in the organizations like A plus, B, B plus plus, whatever the standards that are applicable to that. Quality need to be decided. Expected time of duration. We will clearly make just like a contract. Once I will place an order, then how much time that you require to deliver that product. And return policy, whenever there is anything defective has been identified in that one. So, then what is the return policy that we have? Mismatch of materials dispatched or delivered. How to rectify that one? All such type of elements will be decided under routine policies. And what is the price? At what price that you are going to supply now and at the same time future? We have made an agreement for 1 year. In that case, does the person is going to sell the product throughout the agreement period at the same price, or else any changes according to the market? Everything should be clearly specified under this document. Warranties, etc. Now, on what aspects that the warranty is applicable, and what is the type of warranty? Are you going to replace or else repair that existing system? So, all these specifications are very essential after selecting a supplier and at the same time before getting the delivery of the product. And type of products that are required. What type of products that are required in the organizations? Different types of raw materials that we have. Now, which type of raw material that you are demanding for, that need to be specified under this case. In case of heavy equipment, the organization market prefer to lease the equipment. Why? Why to lease that equipment? Because it is a heavy equipment, means it might be more even expensive also. In this case, if we are purchasing that one, it is an additional burden to the organization. For example, we are using such type of equipment only once or twice in a month. In that case, instead of blocking our money, is we will go for rental of that services. So the leasing and lessee gain advantage like conserving capital. That means both the parties will enjoy the benefits. Whoever using that is the capital requirement will be less. That means we no need to reserve our capital into one area, and at the same time getting the latest products that are available in the market, receiving better services, tax advantages, or etc. can be done under this stage. Now, for the services like maintenance, repairs, operating systems, etc., make a contract. Blanket contract has to be filled by the supplier. Now, under what terms and conditions? Whenever you are doing that maintenance, repairs and all, whatever the equipment required, if it is damaged by you, how you want to replace, all such type of elements should be specified here, by which the buyer built a long-term relationship. Now, under this one, a long-term relationship will take place between the buyer and seller with the supplier, and resupply agreement whenever the organization is needed at the agreed price and agreed time duration. So, how much time you require and what price that you will supply, all these will be decided now itself. It is also termed as stockless purchase plan. Now, here also we are doing a purchase plan, but we are not going to exchange any stock. Instead, we are just keeping all the things on a paper, a document. Companies order and acquire bulk quantities of key materials when they anticipate that there is a possibility of shortage of goods in future. For example, there are certain type of raw materials that are available that are seasonal. In case of seasonal things that we have, what will ultimately will happen means after the season, its prices might be increases. For such type of products, what the companies are doing means they are purchasing the quantities in bulk. Bulk quantities can be purchased so that they will get an advantage, and at the same time, whenever there is an off season, they can able to use that material in order to fulfill the needs and requirements of customers. The last step in the buying behavior of business markets that we have, it is performance review. For example, like the first two cases that we discussed, like routine purchase, straight buy, or else modified buy. When we will do this one, routine purchase means we are going to straight away placing the order whatever that we have received in the previous. Now, when we will do this one, when the performance review is good, when first time when we have purchased, when the review is good, then ultimately yes, we will go with straight rebuy of that product. Even to make certain modifications what we required, performance review is required. Based upon the performance review only, we will take a decision what kind of elements that needed to be modified. The buyer regularly review the performance of supplier to take the decisions regarding continuation of that, or else modify or stop that relation, because until and unless we won't get quality raw material, and at the same time when the material is not delivered at right time, no business organization can able to manage. So for this, the evaluation can be done under performance. To increase the efficiency of purchase managers, the companies has introduced reward system, at the same time good buying performance. So in order to encourage our purchase department or materials department people to purchase the right quality. Why? The product quality in the market that we are providing to the end user depends upon the quality of raw material that we are using. In that case, in order to encourage to go for a good raw material with good quality standards and all, yes, the organization should introduce a reward system. Whenever you have purchased any product with no remarks, a certain incentive will be provided to the purchases manager. So these are the various steps involved in the buying behavior of a business market. So the 7 basic steps that we have. This is all for today. Thank you.